What's up, y'all? It's me, Balake. Um, haven't done this in a while. Hopefully, enjoy the content. Yeah, talked to my buddy Nick in San Diego, one of my best friends, Nick Theo, about changing the name of this podcast, and he suggests a mission statement and a vision statement, which are two different things. A mission statement is what I want it to become, I think, or ways. It's what you want to become and what you envision it to become. And what I want from this, I just want my voice heard. I don't really give a fuck um, about it. Kinda a communication tool, but not social media. Like I've stated, I believe this is media. I believe I've been told I'm funny. I've been told, kudos. I agree with that statement. I believe I am a personality. And I like to consume what this is. And it's just me talking. I started off with something like this, consuming it, Joe Rogan's podcast, and I used to not be a Joe Rogan fan at all. I first learned about him when I was very young. He was just an actor on a TV show called News Radio. And then when I was high school age, I remember going to school one day after a football weightlifting thing on the commute to school. And the DJs on 106.7 The End interviewed him and tried to give him cookies, and he didn't want the cookies. And they're like, "Burr, burr, boner killer." And they gave him a thumbs down after he left the studio. And I was like, yeah, screw him. And then he just left my mind for a long, long time. Never nothing about that dude really crossed my mind. He was on Overhauling or Rides with Chip Foose. And I was like, oh, it's that guy. Nothing came into my mind. I watch UFC. I barely noticed that he was there in UFC. And then my buddy Christian told me about, oh, Joe Rogan does float tanks. I was like, I don't really fucking like Joe Rogan. I think he's a douchebag because of, the radio DJs didn't like him. Let's go to a float tank. Let's go to a float tank. So I go to a float tank, and he sends me a video of Joe Rogan talking about float tanks. I don't think much of it. I go do it. It's cool. I didn't understand it at first. And then I get to a point where I had picked up all my shit in life and moved over to Oregon by myself. And I went and got my dog afterwards. And I found myself not in a healthy place mentally. And I found myself in a isolated area of Portland, Gresham, which someone not considered Portland. It's like 45 minutes away. And I was isolated. It was kind of a smaller town, and it wasn't like downtown city life where you can just walk down the street, talk to someone. So I was in this apartment, very alone, not doing well, and I was going to school, but I wasn't making, I didn't have enough people to talk to. And so something I finally did just out of the blue, just looked up float tanks. I went to float tanks, and then it was featured on Joe Rogan's podcast, and then I put it on Joe Rogan. And what it was, and it's not necessarily Joe Rogan because I like it. I mean, it's all close to the same target, the people he talks to. But what I like about it is it's someone that seems to be a regular dude. Someone that's trying to kick the system a little bit, but also exist within it on the outskirts. It's a dude. I found out who he is and what it is. He's a dude that likes cars. He's got 2 sleeve tattoos. He doesn't want to be in TV anymore. He likes fighting. He's black belt in 2 different martial arts. And he has fucking Elon Musk on. He has this dude that beat Lyme disease. And he has all these different people on. He has his comedian friends. He smokes weed. I would smoke weed while he smoked weed. And it was like, just like he talks about how he wanted to be. He wanted to be a hangout. He wanted you to feel like you were just in the room, but you were not able to. I mean, you can yell at the fucking TV, but so and that came from him just fucking around on his computer. Real bad video quality, real bad audio, glitchy, terrible to what it is today. Granted, he's a millionaire, and I think he was a millionaire then as well. But the technology, and I've mentioned this, technology I have right here, far superior than any of that. And so I want to upgrade my things. I want to make this something. I want to talk to my friends. I want to have a concentrated conversation where I physically can't grab my phone, and also just put your phone down for a second. And I struggle with that too. My wife always yells at me about it, but um, I want this to just be my voice. I want it to be free form. Um, I want it to be quality enough. And also, a, a train of thought that goes through my head is I spent a lot of time on effort on this thing. Now I would like to talk about how I did that because I believe it to be unique. And, I go scouring YouTube looking for kind of exact scenarios of what I'm trying to do, and I don't find it. I find things along the lines of, but I don't necessarily find what you know. I used to own a truck and I put a certain size tire on it, and then I put a, rim on it that was big and all these different, and it was unique. And according to the calculations, it wasn't supposed to be done, but I got it done. Figured it out. I think that's a lot of what YouTube is. I think YouTube or Apple had an advertisement like that where it's like a kid learning how to tie a tie. It was like like YouTube was his father teaching him this thing, but in a way it is. Like I was trying to do my garage door opener today, and I found out through YouTube that I fucking ordered the wrong shit. But yeah, my vision for this would be to, have not laughable equipment if I did have someone walk into what this is. You know? If I did have someone come in and interview that is, and I know that's very grand, but I think that's what the whole point of the vision is. And the way to do that is slowly. I ordered a tripod. Once it shows up, I'll be able to get the same camera view every time. I'll be able to record my gym articles if I want to, like my buddy CJ. Um, I can do a lot of different things. I want to get what are those fucking things called, which I was very impressed with. Moving on, one of those monopod automatic gimbal. I want to get a gimbal. I want to get better. This is very oh shit. This is very good, but I want to get a better one. I want to get a mic stand and just attach this to it so I can get this right up close to my face and get you that sweet, sweet audio sound. So, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think I do unique and interesting things. I have conversations with people that are unique and interesting. I tend to be the guy that people say, hey, I don't want to tell anybody else this, but, and then they tell me some juicy gossip secret. And I think that's because I don't run off and tell people. Hold that shit close to my heart where the cancer lives, Um, so why am I doing this? Boredom. And I can. What do I want from this? Develop my Oh my god. You almost always knock over this stuff. Can you go over there? Can you go over there? Okay. Gives me a heart attack. It's my dog Jake. Um, I want to develop a voice. I want to get my opinion out there, and I don't want to be someone that, as soon as someone puts up a clip, I'm some journalist or some YouTuber that just snaps back at that, and I just piggyback. I want to have my own unique opinions, and I think talking's healthy. I think conversation's healthy. I think getting it out there and then being able to mull it over after you've said it. That's another thing about Joe Rogan that I like about him is that he says I'm not married to my thoughts. I can change my opinion at any time. If I didn't, I think that'd be counterintuitive to what a human is. So yeah. A little bit about me. I don't know if I've gone over this before because I drink when I do these. So I would like to tone that down a bit. But a little bit about me. I grew up in Louisiana. I was born in Slidell. Did my first year. I remember it well. Now, I spent my first year in Kenner, Louisiana, which is right next to New Orleans. And then my family, almost collectively, but at different times, like aunts and uncles and grandpa and stuff, moved to a place called Covington, Louisiana. That's where Theo Vaughn is from. Big fan, Theo. Grew up as the youngest of six kids. The first two are already out of the house by the time I, was born. So I grew up in a a four child, all boys household. I was the youngest. The two oldest in the house were Kurt and Chris, and they're the same age. They're 8 years. I always forget that. Yeah, I believe they're 8 years older than me. And then my brother Steven was 4 years older than me. And yeah, was homeschooled up until eighth grade. Then I went to school eighth grade. Played sports, was a tag along kid. That's where I just always followed my brothers. And that was interesting. Got the shit kicked out of me a lot. And then I started going to school and making my own friends. And uh, I used to go to summer camps for like 5 weeks at a time and do outdoor shit. And it was fun. Started playing football, got really into weightlifting. Started smoking weed in like ninth grade, drinking in ninth grade. And I didn't like the school I was going to, which was a Christian private school. Um, Made friends there though, played football, it was a new football program. Started maturing there, hit puberty there, started gaining muscle, and I really liked Olympic weightlifting. And then Hurricane Katrina happened my junior year, and I had the opportunity to live up in Park City, Utah. And I played football up there, and was my senior, moved up there my junior year, stayed up there till my senior year, got in trouble because I was a bully, to be completely honest. Um, and moved down back to Louisiana and went to a public school where I met a couple of people. And guess what we did? We fucking drank and did drugs. Wasn't doing the best stuff, but wasn't doing the worst. Got some jobs, worked at a bar, drank a lot at that bar as a bar back. And then went to Baton Rouge Community College. Didn't even apply to Louisiana State. Um, and then I flunked out. I didn't really go. I didn't have a passion. I didn't see what they were teaching me as what I wanted to do or what it had anything to do and what did I want to do. And I got in trouble with the law, got caught with a little pot on me. Um, and then I hurt my knee when I moved back to Louisiana. Back to Covington. I hurt my knee jumping from a trampoline onto a wooden deck, which I'd done plenty of times before, but the wooden deck was wet and my knee slipped out and partially tore the inside thing here, not meniscus, but maybe ACL, MCL, whatever those are. Went to therapy for that. Sobered up because I would schedule my therapy early in the morning. And so I lost a bunch of weight going to physical therapy. And not a bunch, but I just, quit drinking and smoking every night and would go to physical therapy and do physical things early in the morning. So I trimmed up with that. And then as I was, trying to get this, pot charge off my record, I decided that I think it's time I joined the military because I'm not doing the things that I should be and I had no structure. I don't think I had too much forethought on those exact things. I know that, I had gotten in trouble and to me I was like, "Oh, I need to get out of here. I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not elevating myself. I'm not evolving with my peer group into a better place like I think college is supposed to do. And not all college does that, but that's what it's supposed to be. You go to class every day, you learn something which is healthy for you, and you plan for a future where you get a job in the thing you studied. I wasn't doing that. I was boozing every night at my job as a bar back, and then I became a fry cook, and I shittily quit that job. I just not shown up anymore. And so, right when I was about to be done with my probationary thing to get it off my record, and I was in much better shape, I called a Marine Corps recruiter and talked to them. And in that, I did tell them that, I had a charge, and, that became more of a bigger deal because if I would have just handled that on my own and then not mentioned anything, that wouldn't have popped up. But it did, and they wanted details, and everything got taken off my record, not because of the military, because of amount of money I paid and community service and yada yada. But joined the Marine Corps. I went to boot camp after my 21st birthday in San Diego. Had an infantry contract, went to School of Infantry. My grandfather died. Did not go home for my grandfather's funeral. Didn't go home for my grandmother's funeral when I was up in Park City during college time. I broke my wrist. I was a little, but anyway. So get orders to 29 Palms, which is southern, more inland California, southeast California, wasteland desert. Get there. I'm a machine gunner in my boot. Life sucked for a long time. Anybody that wants to be infantry, Marine Corps, any of you corpsmen, any of you Marines, any of you recruits, any of you poolies, you want to be infantry Marine, life's going to suck for like 2.5 years. And you'll get like a year and a half left to have an okay time, maybe not get shit on as much. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I was just more mouthy or the people I was around. Um, I just rubbed them the wrong way, or they weren't expecting me to be as challenging as I was. But I was put in leadership positions and then taken out of leadership positions, and that's all. That's all part of growing. But I went to Japan on a MEU, Marine Expeditionary Unit, which is you get on a sailor's boat and you float around the ocean. But we flew to Japan first to do that. hung out there, did some stupid shit in the jungle or the forest. It's not really the jungle. And then we got on a boat for about 4 months. We went to the Philippines. We went to Sasebo, Japan. We went to Singapore, which was nice, very nice place. And came back and didn't do much. And people drank and people got in trouble. I didn't drink except for like the first week there. Sober for, 6 months and 3 weeks. And we come back and go back to the barracks, go to the Marine Corps Ball and get into a fight with someone. And then we go back to, California, the Marine Corps Ball in Vegas. We go back to California. We're living in a squad bay, which means like an open bay with bunks. I get attacked in my sleep, which was number one, super cool. I get, head butted and get two big bad blood black eyes. And yeah, I wasn't really involved too much with that whole like investigation. I made I think one statement and then talked to Jag. I think that was all in one. And then they got everybody else's witness to that. And then one dude lied. He's a piece of shit anyway. But he like tried to lie for me. And his story didn't corroborate at all. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? I'm actually cool with all three of those people that jumped me, which is weird. I'm really good friends with one of them named Zach. Hard to get in touch with, but we're super tight. No. Yeah. So then we have a change of command. Our gunny and first sergeant, they all go to someplace else, and we get new people. And we get the rumors that we're going to Afghanistan. And so these people that are senior to us, the people that beat me up, are saying, oh, you're not going to Afghanistan. Y'all wouldn't know what to do. Y'all will fucking die, da da da. And certain things happened. I got beat up in my sleep. Other people got beat. People got busted with spice. All sorts of like not great things happen. And then our new chain of command shows up and kind of recognizes that we have this toxic waste of a senior personnel. And very wisely, they pretty much handpicked all the shitbags, separated them from us, and we trained fucking like 25 days out of the month. We trained a lot. And you like 25? No, like we trained on weekends. We did all sorts of shit. And we were in 29 Palms. It was a great training environment. We got ready for that shit. We went to Afghanistan. We went to Sangin, Afghanistan in the Helmand province, in the cornfields in the green zone. I got into like 7 firefights. My buddies shot a dude. I wish I shot him, but I didn't. Come back, had a girlfriend. Don't really like her. Eventually broke up with her, waiting to get out, working out a lot. And then my brother dies, and I decided to move back to Louisiana. Move back to Louisiana, take care of his dog. His dog runs away. Date a girl, has a family. I liked her, but in the end, the relationship wasn't the healthiest, so split our different ways. I started working for my dad. He's a home builder, owns a company. Worked for him, wasn't vibing. Put a stress on our father-son dynamic I didn't like. And decided to move to Oregon on some acid, whimsical trip. So I moved to Oregon, go up there, living in the Pearl District, like the heart of Portland, Oregon. Applied to go to school at, I believe, Portland University or something like that. Right up the street. Had to get my records out of, the high school, whatever it was, archives. And then I'm talking to my buddy Dylan. He said, "Oh, you should go to Mount Hood Community College." I was like, "Oh, okay." And it was like 45 minutes away, and it was easier parking, and it was kind of quieter. And at the time, I was like, "Oh yeah, this will be a good change of pace." I moved, and it was, and the girlfriend at the time was like, "Yo, it's like an hour drive. I don't know if this is gonna work." I was like, "Ah, shit." And I pretty much had an acid flashback and lost my shit. Dropped out of college. Um, Wound up in a you know mental health a couple times, and kind of rehabilitated myself, smoking weed, listening to Joe Rogan, trying not to freak out sometimes. My buddy Dylan came and visited me, which was awesome. My buddy Nathan visited me, which was super duper awesome. Um, Fucking two real ass friends right there. And then, I kept asking myself over and over again in those like acid flashbacks, um, what am I here to do? What do I want to do? And it all pointed towards trying to be an honorable person and fighting, literally fighting for what I believe. And I would get visions of trying to like save children and like smuggling, stopping human trafficking and things like that. My mom thought I was batshit, but she was encouraging enough. But I just kept thinking about that, thinking about what people are actually doing a good thing. What people do I perceive? Because when I was in the Marine Corps, I wasn't sure if I was actually doing a good thing. I was listening to these officers who, for the most part, especially mine, was more worried about promotion, more worried about impressing the people above him and moving along in his corporate ladder, in his, career, than actually sitting down with us or actually sitting down with the local populace and trying to solve problems of the area he's in. And us, Marines, we were just there to fucking kill shit. We weren't bloodthirsty savages where we would just go kill things, but if you gave us the opportunity and it was a good kill, we would fucking blast a motherfucker. And we did. My friends did. Good on them. I wish I was more a part of it, but that's my cross to bear. So I kept thinking about it and thinking about, I talked to a guy in the DEA once. I was putting a door in at his house. He talked to me one day and he was like, "Yeah, it's the DEA." But by the way, he was like, he quit being a pastor at one point and like renounced his faith, which is always interesting to me. Something there, I don't know. But anyway, this former DEA agent talks to me and I'm chatting him up. Do I need college? Da da da. Oh, you can get a waiver, all this. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And we go back to finish the trim on his door. He goes, "So what'd you think about my offer?" Offer? He goes, "Yeah, I'll give you a personal referral and we would recruit you into the DEA." And I went to my local watering hole and thought about that. I'm not really, I'm a pothead. I'm a skater. I'm a, wannabe surfer, snowboarder. Do I want to, take drugs off the street in the drug war I don't believe in? No, I really don't. But it seems like a fucking pretty gnarly gig. And so I kept asking myself in these acid flashbacks and just, meditation, what do I want to do? And I chose Navy SEALs. I had a friend in it. I know a couple people in the organization. And I kept talking to recruiters and they kept saying no. Well, I forced them to say yes eventually. And I met the right recruiter. Him and his regular, he's a special warfare recruiter. Him and his buddy, he was also SWIC, was a regular recruiter, and they did the legwork to get me in. I had to put up my scores, and if I could do everything again, I would do so many things different. But I got to BUDS. I failed 2 runs. I failed the swim, and I failed the O course. And I was not doing well on boat runs. So I decided to leave. And part of me thought I would be able to just get out of the military because I had served. And I talked to another Marine that was going through, and he had quit once before, and he came back and couldn't just leave. Maybe I could have, looking back, knowing the system better, but I was selected to be a corpsman, and now I'm a corpsman. I met my wife in corpsman school. We have a son now, and I'm going to a Marine unit. Now, I haven't achieved the thing I told myself I would. To be an honorable fighter for things I believe in. To help people. Well, I'm a corpsman now. And I will help people. I do help people in a support aspect. But more so when I get to the Marine Corps green side as a corpsman and literally put on my old uniform and be with them, I will be their primary care physician. I will be their go-to, the first point of contact to say, hey, I have something going on with me. Can you look at it or figure out how I can get someone else to look at it? And I've been that Marine. And, dude, they ain't much. There isn't as much support as what I got at the hospital I'm at now. You have to fucking fight to get your knee looked at. You have to fight to get whatever. Or you have to have good corpsmen that can set up your appointments and take care of you. So I'm going to California to do that. And also, if they deploy, I'll be on the battlefield with them. And if they blow their leg off, I'll be there to put a tourniquet and a bandage on and get them to safety. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if this is what I was meant to do as far as, am I going to be okay with doing this the rest of my career? Or do I want to try to return to Navy SEAL training and become a Navy SEAL? I don't know. I haven't given up that hope, that dream, that goal. I haven't, be completely honest. I'm not exactly in the best shape right now, but I'm not in the environment I need to be in. And in under a year, I will be. Now, it's not going to be all peaches and cream when I get to California. It's not going to be as hard as the other people that get there. But I'm not expecting the red carpet to be pulled out for me. Though, I ain't no bitch. And it has gotten me in trouble. But what I told Boyd in those previous podcasts is a little bit like prison. And I know you like, oh, fucking it's a little, there's a fucking pecking order. And if you feel some pressure coming from somebody that's trying to knock you down a notch in order to build themselves up, you fucking chop that dude in half. You fucking put that dude in his place. And you go fucking fisticuffs. You figure out how to fucking get your fucking licks in. That's the way it was when I was in. I'm not showing up, I'm not showing up as green as the other guys. Granted, I haven't been a corpsman in a combat zone before, but I'm a Marine and I've been to a combat zone before. So these E4s that are going to be trying to talk shit, if I'm not an E4 yet, or E5s and whatnot, they're going to get checked. They're going to get checked because they probably joined 6 years ago, where I was in the Marine Corps in 2009 and it's 2020. So, yeah. I think there's going to be more of a mutual respect like there was when I showed up to this place. But when I was in Corps school, they didn't give two fucks that I was prior service military. They didn't give two shits. SEAL training, surprisingly enough, I mean, they didn't let things go because I was prior military, but they spoke to me different a little bit. But when I was slacking in certain things, they were harder on me because of my prior military experience. It's all interesting. I don't know what I'm walking into, but also with a lot of this is at the end of the day, I get in my car and I drive to a home with my family instead of some of these single corpsmen or single Marines that they go into a barracks building where they are always governed by the big old hand of the military. Granted, I'm still under the guidance of the military in my home, and granted, they could do a surprise military inspection of my home. Doubtful. But it's such a different thing now for me. I'm 31 years old. I'm gonna be 32 by the time I get there. It's gonna be different. We'll see. Is this what I'm destined to do? In a way, yes, because I'm doing it. I think life is only so much of what it is and what you make it, and then there's delusions of where your brain escapes to. And some people, even me, when I go on a long walk with my dog, I'm so far out there that it has no relation to what I'm actually doing walking down this path on a physical walk. You know, that's when I was in my manic state, and when I've met people in this, they're taught in this state, they're talking so disconnected to what actually is going on. And that's why I kind of bark this at people at work, some junior sailors. They'll say something mid story to me, truly expecting me to know what they're talking about, and I just say context. And they go, "What?" I go, "Do you assume that I listen to everything you say? We're at work, we're doing things. You think I'm just listening?" You know, there's a joke I do with a guy, a nurse named Mario, and I just go, "That right? Ain't that right, Mario?" Go, "That's fucking right, man. Yup, you right." That's different than you actually try and get me to agree with what you're saying, but you assume I'm not busy while I'm busy doing something. Listen to every word. So, a little bit of a tangent while I talk about tangents. Am I destined to do this? Well, I'm doing it. That's a part of life. That's a part of being an adult. Just do it. Just do it. You're doing it, do it. Exist. Only two ways about that. And then there's, your goals and what you're actively trying to do. And then there's your dreams. And dreams are good. But much like this podcast, if I'm not doing anything with it, if I'm not slowly getting better equipment, and then one day I just have $10,000 of equipment and it looks like I have a professional studio, I've missed vital steps of development. I quit buds. But if I make it back to buds, those hurdles, that personal growth and that physical strength that I have to prove, that I have to, mill out of my body, will be far greater than any lessons that I can. I don't know how to really finish that statement, but lessons are there for a reason. Doing things medially for a reason. You don't understand it at the time, but me looking back at me joining the Marine Corps, whether I really had a stream of consciousness saying, oh, I need to do something with my life and get structure, or I just kind of droned into it and did it. I did it regardless. I am a Marine. I went and did those things, and my character is such. This is who I am. So, personal growth, developing, you can't buy your way through shit. Joe Rogan couldn't have just bought all that equipment and be who he is. He developed, trial and error, trial and error. I find that very, very interesting. That's what I would like this to be. I would like this to be something where pretty normal, approachable dude. I don't have any visions of being a movie star. The only vision I would have is getting on stage and being funny as a stand up. But that I don't see myself being this Netflix, this comedy store, these things. I've done public speaking before and people have laughed. So that would be my only vision of grandeur that isn't related to this. I guess. Because this does help with public speaking. Public speaking is important. You can take that class in college, but being funny. I think that's more of, to me, just do it, balls, pussy loser. You know what I'm saying? Just challenge yourself to do it and get those adrenaline goosebumps out. Because that does happen. That's the thing that being a young man and approaching that girl you don't think you have a shot with, just approach her. Just take the shot. You miss all the shots you don't take. Hey, maybe I get on stage and I say something funny and I get such a thrill out of it that I want to do it again. But at least I tried. At least I went to Buds. And that does actually piss me off when people try and talk shit about that. At least I fucking tried. At least I have the scars to show I fucking tried. Am I worse for it? No. I have a wife and child because of it, a boy. Pretty good life right now. I would like to try it again. We'll see. But as right now, I'm getting the wishes granted I asked for. I got a wife. I got a boy. I'm going to California. Going to be back in a good environment. Steel, syrup, and steel in San Diego, California. Vision. I don't know. I want to play guitar one day. I have one right there. I want to be competent on computer skills in order to edit this in a way that's tolerable. Pretty much it. I guess I'll talk about work a little bit. I'm on night shifts now. Just did two night shifts. Beginning of a 3-month thing. We had a real chill night shift on Monday. And then we had a horror show of a night shift on Tuesday. 59-year-old African American male with lung disease positive for COVID-19 was intubated. I don't know the fucking terms. They fucking put an airway in for him. Open you up this fucking metal thing, and they put this tube into your chest in order to breathe for him. And it's not flushed out yet how we do everything. So this room we have him in, which he's not even supposed to be in this room, he's supposed to be in a negative pressure room, doesn't have a window on it. And so the only way we have to monitor him is through a computer monitor that he's hooked up to. And it's a real thing that pretty much one of the first programs I learned about, one of the first programs I took when I got to the hospital was being, you become deaf, you become immune to different noises in the hospital beeping sounds and all this because it happens so often and they pretty much mean nothing to you. But all of a sudden we hear a beeping noise and one of the nurses yells he's going into AFib. And then our lieutenant commander runs up just like, we need to get in the fucking room, and everyone's freaking out. She needs to have, a gown and a mask and she puts on minimal things and goes in, and the dude wasn't drugged up enough. He rips all the tubing out of his face. That happens. But we're not set up. No one's set up for this. No one's set up for this. But at this military hospital, you have people observing from the outside that say this is how this should go, and then you have people actually doing the work. And the people doing the work don't get to make any, they do and they don't, but they'll get reprimanded by making a quarterback call saying, hey, we're going to do it like this because it's the best way. No, Colonel so-and-so, not our colonel, another colonel she was talking to said, well, it's going to be this way. And she was yelling to get him on the phone because this is bullshit, da 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 da. And it's somewhat disappointing that we're in this multi-billion-dollar hospital, state-of-the-art equipment, and yet it still seems to come down to egos. It still seems to come down to this person said it, and that's the way it goes. Now, I'm super duper E3 low on the totem pole, so it really don't matter to me. Really don't. I'm here to do blood draws. I'm here to transport patients. I can do some patient care a little bit more than, the guy next to me, but man, doesn't really pertain to me, but it's a little bit sad to see someone deteriorate like that and us not be able to give him the health care he needs in a timely manner. What are you going to do? As me and my brother said, well, so yeah. Well. Yeah. Yep. Farts and stuff, Started running a little bit more, doing a little bit of weights consistently. Hopefully I can go to jiu-jitsu, but if this thing lasts for 6 months, I might have to go get my money back. Molly clock, For the most part, that's it. Ordered a tripod. Looking forward to that. Been eyeballing this tripod for a while. So maybe we'll get some consistent, view. Yeah. Got some things to set up for my interview podcast. Got some bobbleheads and some ideas floating around. Researching microphones and microphone stands. It's all interesting. I get very obsessive about that type of shit. Will this work with that? Can I make it work? Will I be unique in this, or have people done it before and I'm just a phony? Yeah. I think the moral of the story is never make 2 grilled cheeses, because this is so much bread and cheese, man. It's so much bread and cheese. Too much cheese. I think that's it for me. So, yeah. Keep on farting the fart, Keep on something profound. Peace.